Kayleigh and I'm a personal trainer working with Arthritis. Thank you for joining me on today's session. We are going to be doing a primarily core circuit, so we're going to do a little bit of glute work as well, but it's going to be resistance, so strength work, so a really great strengthening exercise program for you today. I'm going to be using a mat, but you could lie on a carpet with a towel down, as long as it's fairly firm and you're comfortable. I'm going to be doing this barefoot. You can be barefoot, you might prefer to wear trainers, that's absolutely fine. Just make sure you've got plenty of room around you and you've got some water. The first thing I'm going to do is I will run through the exercises that we're going to do, and then we're going to do the warm-up. So the warm-up is going to be standing, and then we're going to be lying down to do all of our exercises today. So you might want to grab a chair or something to help you get from standing down to the mat if you need it. But other than that, you won't need anything. So first things first, I'll show you the exercises. There's going to be 6 exercises and we're going to work for 45 seconds with 15-second recovery. So our first exercise is going to be for our glute muscles in the bottom, and we're going to be lying down, knees bent, nice and flat on the mat, lower back pressed into the mat, and you're going to lift your hips nice and high all the way up to the ceiling and lowering back down. So the thing I want you thinking about here is really squeezing your bottom super hard when you get to the top and lifting your hips as high as you can straight up towards the ceiling. The next move we're going to do is we're going to be lying in this nice flat back position. So it's really important that your lower back is pressed into the mat. Now, one of the things I'm going to talk about a lot in this session is your lower core muscles. And if you're worried about, you're not sure exactly what it is I'm talking about, just take a moment when you're lying on your back, place your hands on your lower tummy and do a big cough. So what will happen then is the muscles that I'm talking about, you'll feel them. So they will activate as you cough. So those are the muscles, the lower core muscles that I'm going to be talking about. Those are the muscles that I want you to really think about trying to squeeze. Now, it might be that consciously you can't feel them that well initially. That's because they're not as strong as we need them to be. But the more you do these exercises, the easier it will actually become to find them. The other really important thing on all of these exercises, any core work that you're doing when you're lying on your back, it is so important that your lower back stays pressed into the mat. So your pelvis is nice and straight, your lower back is pressed in, and by doing so, you will activate those lower core muscles. So these things will work really well together, but for you, I want you concentrating on making sure that lower back is pressed into the mat. If there's any arching in your lower back, then the work you're trying to do is too hard for the strength of your muscles as they currently are. So we just need to take it a step back. So second exercise, in this nice position, lower back pressed into the mat, we're going to march our legs one at a time. So you can really think about squeezing those muscles here. And what we'll do is we'll just start thinking about keeping initially our toes nice and close to the bottom. As you get stronger, we can start taking them further out away from the body. Exercise number 3, we're going to bring our knees up into this nice flat tabletop position. And we're going to have our arms up as well, if that's okay for you. And we're going to tap opposite arm and opposite leg away from the body. It is so important here to make sure your lower back is pressed into the mat. So I'm going to talk you through all of these exercises and give you lots of different options as we go through. From there, we're going to keep the left leg bent, straighten out the right leg, shuffle up, and we're going to lift and lower one leg at a time. So your leg here, I want you having a bit of a bend into the knee. So, and actually you can have as much of a bend as is comfortable for you. Please make sure your knee's not locked. And if it's more comfortable to have your knee almost at a right angle, that's absolutely fine. Our next move, we're going to bend the right leg, straighten the left, and we're going to do exactly the same thing on the other side. So there's really not much moving around in this session. Final exercise that we're going to do, we're going to come up to sitting. You're going to have your knees bent, back nice and straight, arms out, and we're going to lower, roll down nice and slowly with control, down onto the mat, take a deep breath in, and as you exhale, you're going to roll back up again. Now at this point, you are absolutely welcome, possibly will absolutely need to use your knees or legs to get you back up. Now the closer your feet are to your body, the harder it's going to be. So I would definitely recommend starting with your feet further away, rolling yourself back down, and as you come up, getting as far as you can, and then really pulling up, trying to keep your back nice and straight with your legs as soon as you need to. But again, this is an exercise that the more you do it, the more you get used to it, the more those muscles start to activate and kick in, and the easier it will become. And it's great because you can really see progression with this exercise. So that's it. Hopefully nothing too frightening. I'm going to come back up to standing, back up to standing, and we'll start. So we'll just start warming up through the core, swinging the arms, getting a nice twist in the mid-body. Good. Good. So it's really important to make sure the core is nicely warmed up. Good, well done. Just take your arms backwards, just warm my shoulders up a little bit. Just giving the body a bit of a nudge into some movement. So I hope you're feeling okay today, but please always remember that every day is different. We feel really different on every day, and sometimes we have no idea why. Our energy levels, pain, everything can just feel very different. Come forward. So it's really important to be listening to your body and working within your own comfort zones always. So it's great to challenge ourselves a little bit, but always make sure you're comfortable and enjoying yourself. This is the most important thing, enjoying yourself. Good, well done. So from here, we're going to reach over with the right hand and then just lower down as far as you can go with that same hand. Coming back up, reach over with the left, lowering down. You don't have to go all the way to the floor, just as low as is comfortable for you. Just getting a nice stretch along the side of the body and in the backs of the hamstrings a little bit. We'll need those a little bit later when we do our leg lifts. Good. Well done. So we'll just do one more on each side. Two, excellent, well done. So we're going to come into a bit of a march, so lifting the knees up. So any exercise that you do where you're lifting your legs, whether it be with a bent leg or a straight leg, you're using these lower core muscles, they're pulling your legs up. So it's really important that we activate them. They protect our lower back and they can get quite lazy. So if you want to start to make this a little bit tougher on those core muscles, put your arms out in front. And that will just force those lower muscles to activate just a little bit more. But we're just warming up. If you want to use your arms on the march, that's absolutely cool too. Just doing whatever's comfortable for you. Maybe switch it up a bit. Have a bit of a march and then a few seconds arms out in front and then back to the march. Good. Good, well done. So just take up the pace a tiny bit. If that's okay for you, just getting our heart rate up a little bit, not too much. We don't need to be really puffed up for this workout, which is great. Good, and relax, well done. So I'm going to give you a little bit of time to get down onto the mat. So get down however works for you, but we are going to be heading down there now. And we're going to be coming straight onto our backs, knees bent, in that lovely glute bridge position. So if I just show you, we're going to be on our backs, knees are bent, feet hip width apart, knees nice and in line. Good, okay. So just staying there, I'm going to just jump up, well I'm not going to jump, but I'm going to sit up and I'm going to hit the timer so we're ready to go. So what I want you to do is just being ready to go straight into that first lovely exercise, the glute bridge. Okay, so when we're ready, and go. So this first exercise is quite a nice one. So we're lifting, squeezing, and coming back down. So you can really feel your spine rolling up away from the mat or the floor, lifting as high as you can. So trying to get all the way on up to your shoulders, so hips nice and high towards the ceiling. So really don't rush these exercises. It's actually more important to do them nice and slowly. And if you want to make this more of a challenge, you can cross your arms over your chest, which will just make this a little bit more of a challenge for your glutes. And relax. There we go. So our next exercise is going to be our marching. So again, really important, make sure that lower back is pressed into the mat. Find those coughing muscles. They're the ones that we're going to be using here. So we're just lifting one leg at a time. A nice, lovely march on our backs. So really making sure that lower back is pressed really firmly into the mat. Keeping your feet nice and close to the body for now. But as we start to move on through the circuit, you can maybe have a little play with moving them a bit further away. But for now, I would say just keep them nice and close, unless this feels really easy for you. Just focusing on those lower core muscles, just really thinking about them will actually help them to engage a lot more. And every now and again, just check that you can't get your hands under your back and relax. Good, so our next exercise, we're going to bring our feet into tabletop position. So this one, we're going to start off, I know we are going to be doing it with the arms, but to start off, I want you to just have a go with the feet. So there we go, just tapping them down one at a time. If you're confident, your back is not arching and you've got control with your core muscles, then you can start bringing in the arms, tiny bit of coordination, and just taking opposite arm and opposite leg away from the body. If you find your back is arching, absolutely drop your arms. If you still find your back is arching, then please go back to the marching. Do not rush these exercises. I promise, if you do them regularly and with really great form, you will get much stronger so quickly and you'll be able to move on to the next level. But don't rush them. And relax, well done. So from here, we're going to keep the left leg bent. Switch up it again. We're going to straighten out the right, but we're going to keep that knee nice and soft. So hands by your side and go. So we're just going to lift and lower that right leg. Good. So just making sure that that knee is not locked, but absolutely it can be nice and bent if that's more comfortable for you. But again, really focusing on that lower back. You can sort of feel here to see if your muscles are activating, but always, if you're not sure, pause and go back to your cough. Just find them out. Good, well done. Nice, slow, strong work. And relax. So the next move, we're going to be swapping over to the other side. Making sure you're nice and comfortable, making sure your back's flat, right knee is bent, left knee is going to be soft. And relax. So soft or bent, that's absolutely fine. So lift and lower. So if you want to start thinking about your breathing as well, I know I'm giving you an awful lot to think about, but you breathe out as you lift your leg, breathe in as you lower. So exhale on the way up and breathe in on the way down. Good work. So just really focusing on thinking about that lower core. Good work. And relax. relax, well done. So from here we're going to come up to sitting, so you can roll onto your side, coming up however works for you. Now remember, start this one off with your feet quite far away from your body, arms out, and we're just going to roll down. So it might be that you get to the roll down and then you need to go back onto your side to get back up. That's absolutely fine. So I want you, again, really working to within your comfort zone. If the getting back up, that is the tricky bit, it's the struggle. Then roll onto your side and just roll down. If you can, get up and down like this, that's absolutely great. But of course, at any point, you can use your legs to help pull. I feel like there's a biting point, like the clutch in the car, where you just go, and that's the bit where you need a bit of help. And relax, well done. So that's our exercises. So we're going to run through those 2 more times and we're done. Hopefully you enjoyed those. We're going to get straight back into our glute position for our glute bridge. So bringing your feet nice and close to your bottom, squeezing at the top and coming back down. Now remembering, if you want to progress on this one, you can cross your arms over the chest. So take your hips to the top, squeeze and see if you can't get a tiny, tiny bit further up. I always find there's a little bit more to go, really squeezing that bottom. Good. Holding, having a little pause at the top. All of these exercises are better if done slowly. Squeeze and pause, and then rolling your spine back down. Good. And relax, well done. So from here we're going to be marching. So making sure that back is nice and flat on the mat. And go. So you can play around with this one as well. If you're confident your back is flat, if you can feel those core muscles are working, then you can either lift your arms up and just have them up and still in this position, or you can start thinking about taking your toes a bit further away from your bottom. So the longer you make this lever, the further away your legs are, the harder it will be. But again, just every now and again, check in. We really don't want anyone having an achy back from these. Good, well done. And relax. So the next one is going to be legs in the tabletop position. So there is quite a jump from those 2 exercises. So that's why I'm giving you so many of the options. But if you need to stay with the marching, stay with the marching. If you want to progress to one of the marching options, so arms up, legs further away, you can. Or if you're comfortable, coming here, tapping your toes one at a time. And if that feels all right, taking opposite arm, opposite leg away from the body, which does require some thought and coordination. Good, well done. So really making sure you're breathing throughout. There is so much that I'm giving you to think about. Breathing is the most important one. Good. Well done. And relax. So bending the left leg, straightening out the right. Nice bend in that right leg. And there we go, lifting and lowering. So you can with this one, if you're feeling really confident, you can take your hands behind your head, nice soft touch, nice relaxed neck, and you can just lift your shoulders a tiny bit off the mat as you come towards your leg. So again, only move to this stage if your lower back is flat into the mat and you're feeling really confident with the moves. Otherwise, I just want you to stay here, hands by your side, which will just make it a little bit easier for now. And relax, well done. I'm going to come to the other side. So I've got my right leg bent, left leg straight. You might start on the other side, that's absolutely fine. Make sure your knees not locked, so knees are soft or bent. And we're going to lift and lower. Good, so again on this side, if you were confident to, on the other side, you can start lifting from the chest. Make sure you're not straining your neck, so you're lifting from the chest rather than the face on neck. And it's just a really small lift. Hands are really light on the back of your head. Make sure you're not kind of pulling your head and neck up. That's not what we're looking for. We're just looking for that slight lift in the shoulders from the mat. Lots of these moves are really small, and that's great. And relax, well done. So we're going to come to sitting now, so rolling or however you want to get there. Good, so the aim with this one is to keep your feet on the floor. We want to get to the point where the feet are not lifting, so you're rolling down. Take a deep breath in and breathe out as you lift up. So your breathing will really help with this one. So you can really slow this down, breathing out, like I say, using your hands to pull up from your knees if you need to, maybe just lowering down, rolling onto your side and then coming back up. That's absolutely fine. If you want to challenge yourself a bit, bring your feet a bit further in, just really making sure that if your feet are lifting from the mat, you might need to take them a little bit further away. Good. Just maybe one more, we might get down. Perfect, and relax, well done. Last time through, this is going really quick. So, onto your back. Hopefully you're feeling okay, enjoying yourself. Straight into our glute bridge for the last time. There we go, so lift, squeeze and hold, and lower. Maybe this time challenge yourself by holding for a little bit longer at the top. Coming back down, so you can still have your arms crossed over your chest. If you're going for the double challenge, but just holding and squeezing at the top and then coming back down. Really squeeze, it's all about the squeeze this one. Squeezing as hard as you can, that bottom, when your hips are nice and high. Good. So often our glutes get very weak, just from the way we live our lives. So it's really important to keep them awake and working. Good, so we're going into our marching next. So just check, is my lower back into the mat? Am I activating my core muscles? And then we'll start with the marching. So if you're feeling good here, lift up your arms. Good. Nice bent knees, one leg at a time, lifting up. Hopefully you're not noticing too many cobwebs on your ceiling. Good. And relax, well done. So we're going to be lifting our legs up for the next one. So remember, there are a number of options. So you take the option that works for you. So whether you're tapping your toes, whether you're still marching, whether you're doing the toes and the opposite arm. Good. Just making sure that you've really got your lower back pressed into the mat. There's definitely more coordination with this one. I find it, until I get going, I can't talk and do it. I think once you're going, it's all right. It's that first kind of working out which leg and which arm need to move. Good. Last few. well done. So now we're going to have our left leg bent, right leg straight. Remember, our knee is soft or bent, not locked. Good, and we're going to lift and lower. So it is the last one. So if you want to bring in that little lift from the top of the chest and the shoulders, you absolutely can. Good. Well done. This one can feel quite tough on your hips as well, so it's really important to bend your knee if you need to, because that will just take that little strain off from the hips. The leg will feel just a little bit lighter. 5 more seconds. And relax, well done. So coming onto the other side, bending your right leg, lengthening your left. Knee is soft or bent. And off we go. So again, you can lift and lower from the shoulders. Make sure your neck is nice and relaxed. You're kind of looking up towards the corner of the ceiling. Your hands are soft on the back of your head, so you can take the weight of your head. Just make sure you're not pulling your head up. Where you're lifting from is your shoulders. Good, so your shoulders and the tops of your chest, and this only really needs to come an inch or two away from the ground. It doesn't have to be a big crunch. We're just really gently working the lower core muscles, and you're just bringing in the upper core muscles as well if you're doing that bit, but absolutely you might well just be doing your leg, and that's totally cool. So we're going to come up to sitting now for the last time. So there is a lot to think about this one as well. So feet are flat on the ground, as far away from your bottom as works for you. Back is nice and straight. And really think about slowing this one down if you can. So really nice and slowly, 1 vertebra at a time. And then coming up nice and slowly, trying to make sure those legs don't lift. Using your hands to pull yourself as much as you need to. Or even lowering, rolling yourself down really slowly, and then rolling onto your side and coming up from there. That is absolutely fine. Good. Really nice. Good. Like I say, it's a great one for seeing progression, this one. So after a few times, you'll really get the hang of it. And relax. Well done. So I'm just going to turn that timer off. So just stay where you are for a second. Good. So we're just in this nice laying down position. So great work. That was brilliant. I hope you enjoyed that. You might feel a bit of an ache in your core tomorrow where you've just woken up and activated some of those muscles. That's okay. So what we're going to do to start with is we're just going to have a little bit of a stretch. So I'm just going to get you to put your right leg, your right ankle over your left knee, and just gently press on that right knee. Good. So just stretching a tiny bit in the glutes there. Good, and then swapping over to the other side. Again, just gently push, ankle on knee. Well done, and then we're just going to take hold of your left leg, lifting it up, making sure you're not holding behind the knee, so you're either holding the thigh or the calf, and just gently, really gently pull that leg in towards you, just stretching out in the hamstring, so you can be holding your thigh or your leg, or your calf, sorry, just make sure you've not got behind the knee. Well done, and then swapping over to the other side, just taking hold of that leg, say calf or thigh, either is fine. Well done, lowering that leg down and then just rolling onto your side and pushing up into a seated position. Coming up onto our knees. Well done. It's going to get you to put your hands in the small of your back, squeeze your elbows together, pushing your chest out in front. Just taking a nice few breaths. Good. Fingers lifted in front and just stretching into your upper back. So just rolling those shoulder blades forwards, just stretching the upper section of your back. Good. Roll your shoulders back and you're done. Thank you so much.